Okay, welcome to this session for generative AI using Adobe Firefly. This will be my third session for the ANZ Adobe Education Summit 2023. My name is Roland Banyes. I will be your presenter or workshop facilitator for this session. I would like to check within you if everything is clear. Is my audio good? Is the screen is already sharing? Kindly comment the number one. Okay, that's great. That's great. Thanks, James. Thanks, Julian. Okay, thank you. So this will be a bit intensive of a session because I'm going to give. No worries if I have no camera. Um, you can check the notes on the side on the pod, so you can access Firefly. Some of our Padlet link. You can also see that here. And again, my name is Roland Banyas. I'm the training director and co-founder of Creative Nation Academy here in the Philippines. And this session is about the actual community itself, and together with what we do in the generative AI space, together with the education changes that we have. If you are if you want to support us for our sessions, you can check on our YouTube channel. You can see on our page. It is You can just type Creative Nation Academy and you will see the website on which you can also access it by viewing it here. I'm just going to copy and paste. This is already on the notes section. If you go to the left side, I'm just going to paste it on the chat box for all of you. And I would highly appreciate if you're going to subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to check if I could enable my camera. Can you give me a second on this? I'm not seeing myself on the session, so okay. So if you want, I can also enable your camera if you want. Just give me a second on here. Okay, it's not giving me the capability. Okay, so I'm just going to check for. I'm just going to move on. Let's go back here. I want this to be very interactive as possible with all of you in the meeting right now. And if you have questions, kindly freely do so. Type into the chat to the chat box. And let's start with generative AI. So right now, this is our agenda. We're going to cover the following: how do humans and AI coexist? Because right now there is a lot of debate lately regarding the ethical use of artificial intelligence to imagery, to a lot of the science and arts that we're going to have. So I'm going to touch on the few things before we go to the actual usage of Firefly itself. So kindly stick around for that. And we're going to learn to use how to use Firefly, on which I'm going to give you and provide you a demonstration on each one. And if you have questions, and let's open a discussion for all of this, I'm very open for all of you to do so. Okay, so number one is AI a threat for creatives? Uh, can anyone relate to these types of items? Kindly type in the number that you're going to be very relatable to you. Would you relate that AI can have us to lose jobs to machines? I'm still not seeing my webcam, so yes, I highly agree with your inputs, Dylan, James, and it's a valid concern. Actually, it's a valid concern because this is a new trend that we have right now, and it's moving so fast. I can definitely relate because last March when I was testing Adobe Firefly, I was very I was very like I feel like threatened with the technology itself because it gives us a lot of ways to create and also to actually misuse the tool itself. And all of this is a valid argument, and this session is also for anyone who wants to leverage the use of generative AI, because when we want to keep an open mind to the new technologies, we want to be acceptive of what the things that we are going to face, regardless if it's pros and cons or positive or the negative for us. And the things that we're going to need is, has anyone, all of you has access to Adobe Firefly? Kindly comment yes if you already have. Yes. Yes, James, I can definitely relate. It's still not good on a lot of things, but given the time frame, if you have like 2 to 3 years from now, kindly it would be good or better. Just like Mid Journey or any AI generation tools, it keeps getting better. Yeah, right. So, what is Firefly? Firefly is a new family of generative AI that was launched by Adobe way back like March of this year, and it's focusing nearly to text to image, text effects generation, recolor, and a lot more things. And the actual goal of Firefly is to offer new ways to ideate. It's a co-pilot for all of us who's a designer, who's a creative, who's an educator, even for students. I already did this session for a lot of students in the here in the Philippines, and I've seen their their enthusiasm and their excitement on how they can use AI to actually generate more ideas on the fly, just typing and make experimentations from their ideas. So these are the following Firefly enabled applications that you can use. We have Firefly technology inside of Photoshop. We have from Illustrator, even from Adobe Stock, and also the new Adobe Express that I'm going to show you. Three of them. I'm going to show you how to do it. And the only question that is always keep on raising to my mind and also to my fellow designers. I'm also a designer. I've been a designer for almost like 10 years now. So, will it replace designers? I always think of it on the positive side. Generative AI is a co-pilot for you if you are for sometimes if you're having like a creative burnout, it will give you a way to ideate much more faster, but it doesn't give you the actual result that you're going to pass to your client or to your as the final product, right? For me, it's a tool for me to execute my ideas, to get more creative with how I position, to do compositions, and to even experiment with styles that I have never seen before. Great question, James. How do you feel about AI logo generation for client students? I think it's just a tool for you to experiment. It's not a way for you to actually giving it to the client. You have to always put an effort to what you're doing, unlike doing it on using artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it's like driving the screw or driving the nail, but it doesn't have the whole construction of the house itself or the totality of the house value itself. So it's just a tool for me. It's okay, but it's not for the final product. That, to answer your question on that. Um, and and right now, there's a lot of things that we're very afraid of because when we are learning artificial intelligence, we are still on the narrow side of artificial intelligence. There has not been a system on which we can access like the super intelligence. Right now, we're still using the narrow type of intelligence, and it's going to be a long way or a long road from this point now. And we also have this point about using generative AI for research and study. some of the practical uses of AI in terms of imagery, learning, natural learning processes, natural language processing. It's for news reporting, educational use, even for criticism or review, or even accidental inclusion, or even parody. Sometimes, if you're into that. So I'm just going to give some of these slides for you to have some context on. There is what we call a human touch, or a human side of things still, even if you're using AI. Your humanity does not been diminished on any shape, way, or form, because you still have to use analytical thinking, creative thinking. This is based from the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs report 2023, and you would see that all of these top skills for 2023 is generally driven by the human condition itself, right? uh and probably there would be some sweet spot for artificial intelligence to be augmented, because like technological literacy, that will be something for repetitive tasks such as quality control. But you cannot automate such as leadership, empathy, resilience, and flexibility. You cannot emulate that right now. Thank you, James. Yeah, it's a tool for drafts, mood boards, prototyping, ideation, that kind of thing. And imagine if we have this type of technology right before, if you're in early 2000s, this will give you a great advantage on what type of things that you can ideate from. I'm just going to forward this, and this is a report again from the World Economic Forum. This is about the top 10 fastest growing jobs. As you would see, the number one will be AI and machine learning specialists. And we need to give our students even a teaser or even an overview of what the future can hold to them, especially even to us, who's trying to migrate to this type of environment, this type of economy, or this type of technology, on which we have to embrace it to ourselves first before we give it to our students. And all of this has been incorporated with artificial intelligence, as you would see, information security intelligence, or robotics engineering, big data, digital transformation specialists. This is all driven by technology, and even artificial intelligence and machine learning, or even data analytics, as we speak right now. And Adobe has been given us a lot of these narrow artificial intelligence throughout the years, for over more than 10 years right now. It has been delivered through Adobe Sensei. If you're familiar with that, kindly comment number one if you're familiar with Adobe Sensei. My fr- my my fellow designers, my fellow educators, if you've seen that. And also, I have been advocating using these types of technology even since there was no mid journey way back in 2018, when we have this type of technology way back in Adobe Sensei. But right now, as you would see, it's almost accessible to everyone that has internet browser and internet connection, even to us here in the Philippines. So I'm just going to go forward, and I want to give you this together with this idea for our students to be mindful of, because human creativity will never be replaced by a machine. It will never be replaced by a machine, unless, not unless we have given up already. Would you agree on that statement? Anyone agree with that? Human creativity will never be replaced by machine, not unless we have given up already. I want to give emphasis on that, because sometimes we become pessimistic about the things that we can do with artificial intelligence. I've seen it on my communities here in the Philippines. They are very reluctant. They are having like this close mindset, but some of them have been lighting up, or some of them have been very enlightening for them, that to see that all of these tools has always been with them, with using Photoshop and other tools, right? So my suggestion is that human creativity plus generative AI, it will change the landscape of every industry again, right? Human creativity and generative AI together will give us a better advantage, I would like to quote this words that I saw last time, is that it's not AI that will replace people that doesn't use AI. It's people who use AI that will replace humans that will not use AI. So keep it as a tool, another set of skills that you have, because the more skills that you have, that will be great to your advantage. Okay, so I'm just going to circle down here, and I've been using a lot of generative AI imagery generators throughout the years, from Photoshop, from mobile applications, to running my own servers, from Stable Diffusion, ChatGPT, Leonardo AI. I've been doing this for a long time, and I just want to give some terminologies before I do the demonstrations for context and understanding. Right now, this is a fairly popular term, which is prompt engineering. It's a process of structuring words. Right now, if you cannot express your ideas into words, that will be a hindrance to what we're trying to do inside of Adobe Firefly, or even any image generation AI tool. So we need to also master how we can do visible thinking skills or visual thinking skills. That's one thing. That's why we have to also study prompt engineering. And I would like to encourage you to open up the conversation with your students on how we can learn how to do this efficiently in our digital classrooms or even on our physical classrooms. Like, for example, having to describe things. For example, a dog, a cat, even the style, a background. That will give them a start. Also, I want to introduce some of the more technical terms, such as in painting. It's a process on which, as you would see on the left side, the before photo, I have this dog, and then if you want to modify this dog to turn into a cat, you can easily use what we call an in painting procedure. This is the technical term. It's in painting. So as you would see from before and after, that's how you transform this type of technique, this methodology. While out painting is about modifying the outside bounds that is not yet existing on the image. That's why it's called out painting. So to take a note of that, it's a way for Firefly for it to create assets. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into Firefly right now. And if you have access to Firefly, you can definitely check on the web page itself. I'm just going to copy and paste it on the chat box for all of you to use. You just need an Adobe ID for this. If you go to https firefly.adobe.com, I'm just going to demonstrate to you some of the modules inside of Firefly. If you're done, kindly comment number 2 on the chat box so we could do it simultaneously. Okay, so right now I'm here in Adobe Firefly, and I want you to discover the very simplest one, which is the the generative recolor. Go to here and then click on generate, and this will enable you to jump into this module. I think of it as modules because further down the road or further in the future, we'll have more of these types of technologies. And this one is also available in Illustrator. I'm just going to give you a demonstration first, and if you want, you can go along with me. There are, in this window, there are a lot of samples that we can use. For example, let's just click on this one for the sake of the demonstration. Let's click on this one, and right then you can easily create variations of colors based on a specific prompt. For example, we have sample prompts here. As you would see, if you click on, let's say, terracotta desert, you can easily do that and click on generate. It gives you a way to describe the color that you want your mood or the theme, and it will generate the specific color for you. And there are a lot of options that you can do, and you also can give a rating system for this, for the generative AI to be better at each time. Or you can use the shuffle colors option here. If you want to just click on that, this will give you a lot of variations to what you're trying to do. And there are a lot of options. You can also import or upload your own SVG file, which is scalable vector graphics. If you're using Adobe Illustrator, you can easily do that. But easily out of the bat, you can use some of the sample prompts on this this template or preset. You can just click on generate, and here you are. You can generate some of these types of ideas or even studies for your visual content. And if you want, you can easily like download this. If I click on more options, I can easily download this, or even I can copy the image or even edit it already on Adobe Express. That will give you a way for to shorten the time when you're creating a lot of stuff inside of Firefly. There is a full integration right now of Adobe Express and Firefly together. And if you're using the Chrome browser, it also has what we call the Chrome extension. Any one of you already know this? You can download the Chrome extension, which is Adobe Express. If you uh, anyone already knows this, kindly comment for, or this is new to you. Anyone who's already know there's a Chrome extension? Yes, you can download the Chrome extension and you can easily edit, convert, even create from scratch by not doing a lot of things like jumping from Express to another. You can even easily choose any website. For example, if I go to apple.com, and if I want, I could just easily right click on a photo or any photo that they have, and already easily edit this in Express if you want. I'm just going to ask for this one. I'm just going to do right click, or, or let's go to Adobe. Let's go to adobe.com, and you can easily create by just right clicking on this, and or just click on this. You can easily create from scratch or edit this using the Chrome extension. That will give you a lot of save time because of this Chrome extension. Download it. It's a must. It's a great tool. Try this. Okay. So let's go back here in Firefly. You can easily download this. Let's go back here. Go and download this SVG file. Again, it's so fast. It's already here on my, and it's already downloaded here. So another thing is that it has lots and lots of settings. You can dial in some of the harmonies if you want to have this complementary scheme. You can easily do so and download the specific ones that you like. Let's try to go back. So that is generative color. That's one thing. And if you go to Illustrator, I'm just going to jump into Adobe Illustrator, as you would see right now. I have this Illustrator file. And don't worry if you don't have this Illustrator file, because you can easily use this by going to select, by opening any Adobe Illustrator file. Thanks, James. You're welcome. Uh, for this demonstration about Illustrator, you just have to select all of your elements here. You can do it in any Illustrator file that you have. If you go to edit, if you go to edit colors, there is a new category which is generative recolor. Okay. So again, let's go to edit colors, generative recolor. If you click on that, this will also access like the familiar thing that we have on the website itself. As you would see, even the sample prompts, it's still the same. Let's click on this one, and this will, the great thing about this is that it will give you the exact preview of the colors that you have. For example, this one, if I want this to be a very muted one, let's click on that. By just doing that, it saves me a lot of time by using generative recolor. Okay, so that's how you can use generative recolor in Adobe Adobe Firefly and even to Illustrator. Okay, so are you good with that? So let's move on. I'm going to move on to another one. I'm just going to quit Illustrator right now, and let's jump into another module inside of Adobe Firefly, which is this one. Let's go back here. If you have questions, kindly comment on our chat box if you want clarifications on that. The next one is one of my favorites, which is the text effects inside of Adobe Firefly. We are again on inside of Firefly. Let's click on generate here. Let's click on that. And text effects has a lot of potential if we're going to use this using our sample files. Let's say if you want, you can easily create. Let's just enter the text here. For example, let's say ANZ Adobe Education Summit. For example, let's create some text effects here. Let's make this like creativity. Let's type in any prompt that you would like to take on. Text effects enables you to visualize and create text with visual styles. Creativity, let's say technology, computers, let's say paintbrush, for example, paintbrush. And let's click on generate. By using the prompts that I have indicated, you would see that this will give us a great text effects design, as you would see here. And you can even edit this as much as you like. For example, if I want, I could just easily add more. But I'm just going to select some of them so we could focus on something. Let's add, let's say keyboard, for example, or an iPad. Let's click on that. Let's click on generate, and this will enable you to create a specific text effect using the following prompts. So that easily. Imagine if you're going to use this on the classroom, if you're going to have an activity with your students to express themselves. This will give them a way to create designs that you never think of, because this one, for example, if I'm going to just zoom in here, this will give you a lot of possibilities. And if you want, you can easily like change from one prompt to another. Let's say let's just use wires for this example, and easily it will give you like the variations. If I click on generate, you can easily create this type of effects. This is also available inside of Adobe Express, and I'm also going to give you a demonstration of that, but I'm just going to do the Firefly first. Okay, there are a lot of sample prompts. If you click on view all, like lots and lots of them, from materials to food and drinks. Okay, okay, can you hear me loud and clear? Okay, great question. I think my microphone has been disconnected. Okay, thank you. Question from Dylan: if a student types a rude word, does it censor it? Right now, it's being monitored, or when they launch the commercial version of, or the actual release of Firefly, it filters, and it's very sensitive with it has a great list of guidelines that you have to check. And also, if you're trying to do a lot of not so great words, it will filter it. That's a great question. Are these high resolution images? Right now, it's not yet. Uh, I think this one is just like 72 ppi resolution, and it's now on the pipeline as we speak. I think some of them has raised this concern to get this into high resolution. So that will be great. Hopefully, it would be much higher resolution in the future. But for now, it's just for like social design layouts. That will be the one thing. Let's move on to another one, which is, let's go back here and minimize this. There are options for you to check. If you want, you can easily make this like a tight match shape. Okay, so you would see that there are a lot of extended properties here. So if I want, I can just make it loose. So if I click on loose, it will generate another. Yes, yes. It's not yet high fidelity for now, James. Yeah, and it's still on the limit for 1024 by 1024 in terms of the actual image image size, generative size. Okay. So next one is you can easily choose a font. For example, you can easily click on view all, and there are a lot of fonts that you can use here. And another thing is that you can choose the color, the background color, the text color, and that's how you can use text effects inside of Firefly. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, James. Yes, as long as the size is yes. So yes, let's go back here to Adobe Express. So if you want, I can go back here to Adobe Express, and I'm going to show you how can you use text effects inside of Adobe Express, and also text to image, by the way. So let's go back here to text effects right now. If I want, I can easily go back here and type Adobe Education here. You just go to new.express.adobe.com, or if you want, you can just type on express.adobe.com. I'm just going to paste it on our chat box for you to use. So if you're already on the Express website, you can easily do so. Just type it in. And I'm going to use this sample text prompts, or I can just click on generate by just clicking on this. And again, it's almost the same experience with the text effects inside of Firefly, but right now we're using it inside of Adobe Express. And as you would see, this one is a full-fledged web application on which all of the familiar settings that you have on Firefly has been brought over, and together with lots and lots of things that you can customize. For example, we have lots and lots of results here. You can load it. You can choose the type of styles. For example, this one, and gives this gives you a lot of things for your for exploration with your students, especially if they're creating posters, banners, printed materials, or even social media materials. This one is almost the same with the Firefly website, as you would see here. Okay, so that's one thing. The next one is if I go back to Firefly again, let's go back and let's dive into what we call the next module, which is the generative fill. So let's click on generative fill, and I am in Firefly right now. You can easily upload the photo that you want, or use an existing photo that we have here. For example, let's click on this one. Let's click on view sample here. uh just 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 playing out with this with the students, it's just great fun, because right now I can easily use generative fill to further my imagination on, for example, let's change this jacket into a red one, because the orange one is not that eye catching. Or if I want, I could just ideate on a specific level. Let's say I want this to be a red jacket. You can easily click on the settings. If you want, you can make the brush size bigger. So I can easily do that. I'm just going to demonstrate to you some of the functions inside of this. And this is also available on Photoshop. So if you're using Photoshop, this will be like second nature to you if you're using this. So let's change this into a red sporty jacket. So I could see lots and lots of fun for students if you want to change their outfit, if they want to put some caps, baseball caps, or cowboy caps, or hats, you name it. And again, it's fair, it's safe for students because it's already filtered, or this is moderated. Let's click on generate, and you can easily extract the background if you want to change the background. As you would see, we have lots of variations that we can choose from. Okay, I think this one is cool. This one is good. Let's click on keep, and if I want, I could easily like go to background here, and I could change this, for example, into a school um school grounds in library, for example. I'm just typing out loud. Okay, let's click on that. Let's check for the generative fill, and you can easily create variations of this. For example, this one or this one. And right now, if you're using or downloading all of this media, you can easily use this without any watermark. Because before, when you're using the beta version of Firefly and even Express, you have what we call the watermark. Right now, you can easily download this. Let's click on download here. And the only thing is that it gives you the content credentials on which the file itself is being tagged on the metadata level that this is created using generative AI using Adobe Firefly. So, having said that, if I go back here and open this file, this is the file itself, as you would see. If I'm just going to check the file itself, let's go right click here. Let's go to get info. And you would see that this on the metadata itself, on the more info, you would see that where from it is created from Adobe Firefly with the following settings here. Okay? And even the file name itself is being appended with the Firefly name. So I know there's lots and lots of ways to remove this, but by default this is already embedded on the system, or by default it's already implemented. Okay? And the next thing is that you can easily download that. You can easily share this if you want, or you can even further edit this to Adobe Express, as you would see here. Or if you want, you can easily submit this to the Firefly gallery, on which it will be featured on the Firefly gallery itself if you're selected. The one great thing about using Firefly, let's go back here. So that is generative fill. Any questions about generative fill or any of the modules that I have already discussed on this session before we end around like I still have 20 minutes, so everything clear? Kindly comment number 3. And also you can upload your own or your own image here if you have. Okay, thank you. Thanks James, thanks Dylan. Let's go back here and let's go on the final module, which is the text to image. Let's go here and click on text to image, and this will enable you to create any any prompt from words to image itself. For example, I'm just going to type in uh, school teacher, or even teacher with students in the classroom with computers, for example. Let's just type it here, or you can type it any prompt that you want. I'm just going to give you a demonstration on this. Let's click on generate, and you would see that by default it has the following properties. For example, this one is an art generated design from this prompt, because as you would see on the content type, we have art here, art. But if you want, you can just generate a photorealistic photorealistic asset, and you can easily choose from one ratio to another. Let's say if you want, I could do a widescreen version of this, and I can easily click on generate. Let's click on generate, and let's wait for a few seconds for this, for it to generate. So as you would see, we have the following, and you can easily download this without any watermark if you're a paid subscriber, or if you're a enterprise education plan. You can easily download this, or you can easily edit this to a number of options. For example, if you do not like a certain aspect of this, let's say if you want to edit this type of image or part, you can easily edit that using what we call the generative fill. You can easily do that, or you can easily use a show similar function. If I click on that, this will enable me to ideate further on what I have already created. Think of it as using a specific value. If you're using stable diffusion, it's called what we call random seed or seed itself. Let's do that, and as you would see, there are a lot of options here. If you want, you can easily like create this as a reference image. Let's click on that, and if you do that, this will generate the specific, like, almost perfect um composition. For example, as you would see here, all of the composition itself, for example, the teacher here, the students here, the only thing that's different is that how the image has been generated on specific like levels, for example. And the great thing about Adobe Firefly is that it's very inclusive with any specific ethnicity. Am I saying that right? Ethnicity. For example, as you would see here, it provides a various exclusive generation, as you would see here. Okay, so that is what you use when you are using what we call the reference image. You can easily do that. For example, you want to create something like this, you can easily like save this to a favorite, which is one of my favorites inside of the favorites of the functions inside of Adobe Express or Adobe Firefly. Because if I go and tap on favorites, I can easily save a specific prompt that I use, and you can further use it along the way. For example, let's go back here. If I want to generate more, I can easily do so. And there's a lot of content types. You can easily create art, graphic, or even styles that you can use. For example, I like this one. If I can easily use also this one. I can tap this as a favorite. And if I click on view favorites, you would see that all of my prompts is already saved inside of my account in Adobe Firefly, which is very helpful for you if you want to save your prompts. Yes, James. I found out using American General. Oh, okay, okay. That's a great tip. That's a great tip, James. I'm also doing that on American words because as Filipinos, we are often being inclined into American words. So as you would see here, try to check on the favorites because this will save you a lot of time. This is a much requested feature, and which is will going to save you a lot of time. Again, here as you would see here, I have this type of favorite that I created long time ago, and this will give you and your students a way for you to dissect or even reconstruct a specific prompt. As you would see here, you can easily do that if you want. Okay, so the next one is we have lots and lots of styles, as you would see here. If you want, you can click on a specific style. Let's say I want this to be like steampunk, for example, and yet I want this to be like a concept art. I can easily do that. Let's click on generate. Or if you want, you can easily type the actual style itself on the prompt. It will easily be converted into a tag using that. Yes, there are a lots and lots of styles inside of Firefly, and also gives you these ideas on which you don't have to research, and it's just a dead giveaway for all of us. Okay, and if you want, you can easily play with some of the other options, such as the color and tone. For example, I want this to be this is already vibrant, so I want this to be like black and white. I can easily do that. If my lighting would be like low lighting, I can easily do that. And even the composition itself, let's make this like let's say shot from below. Let's try that. There's no harm in trying. Let's click on generate. So there's lots and lots of activities that you can give to your students for them to ideate the next uh, images that they want to do. For example, this one. Okay, so that's a text to image. So I'm just going to jump in to Photoshop. So kindly comment kindly comment PS or Photoshop for us to go into Photoshop. So I'm going to give you yes. Thanks, James and Dylan. Okay, so let's go in Photoshop and let's explore some of the Firefly features inside of Photoshop. So I'm going to open my Photoshop document here. So I have some sample files here. I'm just going to open this one. So you can also open any file that you want. And I'm just going to demonstrate some of the powers of Firefly and even some of the old ones or the not so up to date versions. Uh, which is the remove tool. This is also a great tool for all of our students if they want to. If you use remove tool, this will be a time saver for all of us. Let's say click on this one because we want to be. This is not directly using Firefly, so if you're wondering if it is going to use generative credits, this will not use generative credits. So that is remove tool. Another one is what I said before is that you can easily like change stuff. Like I just want to use my lasso tool here or the rectangular marquee tool here. And let's say I just want to put like a cat here. Like let's put a cat here. Just marquee select on a specific layer and let's use generative fill for this. Let's add like a brown cat staring upwards for some strange reason. Let's click on generate and let's try this. So this is a function called in painting on which we are putting designs within the canvas. Oh, so this one is not it's not generating the proper one because okay, and it's just a wonder because I put it on the shadow on which it easily understands that this is already in the shadow, so that's why it's not it's always composing the best one. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate to you a more practical application of this, but right now I'm just going to use the crop tool inside of this image, and I'm going to give you what we call the generative expand or generative fill. If I click the crop tool here, there is what we call the generative expand feature, which is just updated like months ago. And with this, you can easily convert a photo such as this one, a portrait photo, into this one. Let's click on. I'm just going to undo this because I already had just created something. I'm just going to select all of this. Let's go back to the crop tool. Let's do generative expand. Let's select this one here. And then let's click on generative expand. So if I click on that, even if you do not type any prompt, this will analyze the photo itself and will give you suggestions on specifics. For example, it will reconstruct like create a wall or a structure for this. So let's just see. Say it's that magical and saves you a lot of time. You don't need to go to Google and research for a lot of things, and it offers you a lot of flexibility going forward if you're just ideating like this type of scenes. Okay, so this is generative expand, and I'm going to use another example for this. Let's go back here and let's go here on the remove tool. Let's click on open, and I'm going to also use another thing which is powered by Adobe Sensei, which is the object selection tool, as you would see here. The object selection tool will enable you to like this will already analyze the objects inside of your canvas, and if I click on that, this will automatically be selected. That's how powerful Photoshop right now. And if I click on that, I can expand this selection. Let's say let's add like 5 pixels to this. Click on OK, and this one I can click on generative fill, and let's replace this with a cat. Let's say yellow cat, yellow cat looking upward. Click on generate, and this is the in painting procedure. Okay. If you have questions, okay, this one doesn't look right. But again, the technology is not like it's not like 100% each time. So let's click on that. Okay, so this one is looking good. This one is not good. So I think I would keep the second one. And yeah, I think this one is much more better. And let's go back here because nothing is perfect. Actually, there is no perfect technology. Even our day to day use, we don't have like any perfect scenario. Let's click on generate for this, and you would easily see that this will create lots and lots of possibilities on your end in your image editing. And right now in Photoshop, we have a new type of layer, which is the generative layer. As you would see by this type of icon, you can easily do so. And that's how you can use this practical demonstration on your next activities on your class. So I highly encourage you to check on this, and together with lots and lots of new technologies like Adobe Podcast, if you're using Adobe Express, there is what we call the animate from audio, which is like mind blowing and also very interactive thing for you to use in your classroom. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up this session together with some of my notes here. Like I this slides is like 91 slides I have on this. So some of the use cases that you can do together with the Adobe Firefly is, for example, if you want to check on food photography, if you want to experiment on that, create ideas, even for conceptual art, for creative exploration, as you would see, you can easily check for specific styles. Let's say if you're using like cubism, ukiyo-e, any type of genres, any type of style, you can easily use it. Asset stock generation, as you would see, I've created some of them using Firefly. And just explore by using Adobe Firefly. I'm just going to browse on a little bit of this because some of you has been saying that it's bad at using hands, as you would see here, and a lot more. As you would see, this one is created in Firefly. Woman holding a banana. It's not yet that perfect, as you would see here, and even for specific items, for example, a guitar, it's not yet perfect. Even what do you see here in the photo that is really odd? Can you check on this? What's odd on this photo? I'm trying to check with you. I want you to be like AI generative investigator. What's wrong with the photo? How would you easily spot that this is AI generated? I'll give you a tip. Yes, right. Too many teeth, as you would see here. Like, who has that? Okay, so you can easily spot those. You can also spot the following like problems if you're generating like abs. If you're generating fonts inside of Firefly, it's not yet that good. If you have like the diversified patterns, it's not yet perfected or even like on the better stage. Even musical instruments is not yet good inside of Firefly. It's evolving, and we want you to give recommendations on what works and what doesn't. So I think closing in this session, for generative AI to be better, it should know how the description of any prompt works in the real world and not just how it looks. Would you agree on this? Can you type agree if you're agreeing to this statement? For generative AI to be better, it should know how the description of any prompt works in the real world and not just how it looks, right? Because that's one of the problems when they're generating like hands, because hands are a very dynamic item or thing or part of our bodies. So why is it bad? It requires a large data set with quality samples. That's one of the challenges. Another is that it has like a dynamic behavior. Hands can be like up and down and left and right. And even people, even traditional artists, like manual artists, is having problems. Even myself, I have times with bad hands, and it has like a critical room for error. Okay, so I'm just going to browse here. Just type just these types of tips for your students learning the art styles. Like example of art styles, they will have much more appreciation of styles that they want to check. As you would see here, there are a lot of them. I'll give you some of the example prompts here, like this one. And if you want, you can easily check on other evolving prompts, as you would see here, like anime, clay render, low poly. And at the end of the day, it's about honoring the masters that is before us, as you would see here. Yeah, okay. Some of the artists that I look up to, like all of them, the one that holds a special place in my heart would be uh, Gustave Dore. If you're a fan of his works, Gustave Dore is like my ultimate idol, ultimate fan of him, Gustave Dore. Okay, so that ends up my presentation. If you want to discuss about generative credits, you can easily like shoot me an email. And as you would see, I have lots and lots of content as of the moment. I can easily like give you lots of this. Again, my name is Roland Banyes. You can check my work on Creative Nation Academy on YouTube. Thank you for being here in this session. Another thing is that if you want, you can easily use the Padlet link for your submissions. I'm just going to copy and paste this. If you have designs that you have created in this session, kindly upload it here, and I will gladly appreciate the designs that you have created. Again, this is our session for using generative AI using Adobe Firefly. Thank you for being here. And if you have questions, kindly put it on our chat box. Okay? While I'm checking for my webcam. Still, I don't have any webcam access. Let's try to see. Thanks, Dylan. Going to check for. Yeah, I cannot see my. Okay, I'm going to end the recording right now. I'm going to check for your questions, like ending the recording right now for all of us. Stop the recording.